They handed my apartment keys to my sister on my birthday, in front of everyone, smiling, laughing, like it was a joke. But what they didn't know was that apartment wasn't what it seemed, and neither was I. Before we dive deeper into this insane twist, make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you believe karma always comes back around. Trust me, you'll want to see how this ends. I stood there, holding a cheap birthday cake, while my mom proudly announced, "Since Ashley is getting married soon, we've decided to give her the apartment. You're single. You don't really need it, right?" Everyone clapped. I didn't. My hands were shaking, but not out of sadness, out of control. The kind of control you get when you've been quietly building something no one knows about. Ashley smirked like she won some kind of prize. My dad patted me on the shoulder with that fake pity face. "You'll understand one day, Jason," he said. Understand? No. What I understood was that I had spent 3 years paying every cent of my savings for that apartment's down payment, and now they were handing it off like it was some party favor. What they didn't know was the paperwork wasn't in my father's name. It never was. But I stayed quiet. Let them celebrate. Let them humiliate me. Because they had no clue what I'd hidden behind those walls. Not just memories, not just secrets, but something that would change everything. Something that would flip this celebration into regret, faster than they could cut the cake. And just when Ashley turned the key and stepped inside, she screamed. They gave my apartment to my sister Ashley on my birthday. My mom handed her the keys in front of the whole family and said, "Since Ashley's getting married and you're still figuring life out, we thought she deserved it more." Everyone laughed, except me. But what no one knew was I had planned for this moment, and the real owner of that apartment wasn't who they thought. Before we go further, if you believe karma always hits back harder, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You won't believe what's coming next. I stood there, holding a $10 supermarket cake, while everyone cheered for Ashley like she won the lottery. My dad gave me that usual fake pity smile and said, "Don't take it personally, Jason. She's settling down. You'll understand one day." Understand? I understood too much. Like the fact that I'd been working 14-hour days, skipping meals, and sleeping on floors to save up for that place. I'd made the down payment myself, quietly, silently. While they thought I was wasting time with my useless tech job, I was building something they never asked about and never cared to understand. Ashley, in her designer dress and fake sympathy, hugged me and whispered, "You'll land on your feet someday, little bro." She had no clue what was waiting behind that apartment door. What they didn't know, what no one knew, was that the apartment wasn't just a place I bought. It was part of something way bigger, and the moment Ashley walked inside, everything changed. She didn't smile. She didn't laugh. She froze. Then she turned around slowly, her face pale. "Mom, Dad, what is this?" I stepped forward, and I finally smiled. Ashley stood in the middle of the living room like she'd seen a ghost. Her eyes scanned the walls, the floor, the ceiling, everything. But it wasn't the furniture or the design that shook her. It was the massive black plaque hanging above the fireplace. Bold gold letters engraved into it. "Property of Jason Miller, CEO, Miller Tech Group," her voice cracked. What is this?" My mom blinked like she didn't understand English. "Wait, Jason, you bought this under your company name?" I looked around at all their stunned faces and said calmly, "No, my company owns the entire building. This unit? It's one of 48. I let you think I was just a broke software guy for 3 years, while I was building a tech empire behind your backs." My dad's mouth was open. Literally open. Not blinking. Not breathing. Just frozen. The same man who said, "Apps are for losers," at last year's Thanksgiving dinner. Ashley stumbled toward the wall, touching the plaque like it was fake. "But you live in a rented room. You were borrowing money 2 years ago." "Exactly." I nodded. "I borrowed. I sacrificed. While you were showing off Instagram outfits and $200 dinners, I was coding through the night, eating noodles, and reinvesting every cent. I never told you, because you never asked." Dead silence. Then I walked over to the side table and handed Ashley a small white envelope. "What's this?" she whispered. "It's your wedding gift," I said. "A 30-day eviction notice." Her face dropped. My dad finally snapped. "Jason, this is your sister. This is family. You can't just—" I looked him dead in the eyes. "You made this about family when you chose to betray me on my birthday." And that's when the real twist dropped. Ashley opened the envelope, and inside wasn't just the notice. It was a photo of her fiancé kissing someone else. Ashley's hands shook as she stared at the photo. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her perfect nails clutched the edges of the picture like she could rip reality apart. "No. This isn't real. This has to be old. This isn't—" "It's from last night," I said, calm as ever. "I hired a private investigator 2 weeks ago when I overheard your perfect fiancé bragging at a bar about how he was using you for your parents' money." My mom gasped like someone had punched her. "Jason, why didn't you tell us sooner?" "Would it have mattered?" I said. "You were too busy planning her wedding with my apartment." Ashley looked like the ground had disappeared beneath her feet. Her confidence drained. Her voice barely a whisper. He said he loved me. He also said you were spoiled and blind," I added coldly. "But don't worry, he'll be single soon." The other girl in the photo? She was dumb enough to believe him too, until I showed her this picture and a copy of his messages. Dad sat down like the air had left his lungs. This can't be happening." "Oh, it's happening," I said. "And I'm not done." I reached into my jacket and pulled out another envelope. "Here's something else I've been keeping quiet about." My mom hesitated before taking it from my hand. She opened it slowly, and then her eyes widened. "These are bank statements?" she stammered. "Correct," I said. "From the trust fund Grandma left behind. The one you told me was empty. Turns out it wasn't empty. It was transferred to a family vacation fund 2 years ago." My dad's face went red. "That was for—" "No," I cut him off. "That was supposed to be for my education. You used it to buy matching jet skis." My mom started crying. Ashley just stared at me, shattered. Her engagement, her marriage, her apartment, all gone in one afternoon. And then I said the one sentence that silenced the entire room. This wasn't revenge. This was a reminder. They looked at me, confused. "A reminder," I said, stepping toward the door, "that I let you take everything from me once, but never again." And just as I reached for the handle, I paused and smiled without looking. "Back. Enjoy the ride down. The elevator only goes one way when you've been standing on stolen ground." No one said a word as I walked out of the apartment they once claimed was Ashley's. The silence behind me was louder than any apology they could have faked. I took the elevator down slowly, watching my reflection in the polished steel doors. I didn't look like the same Jason they used to mock. The one who worked from cafes, skipped family vacations, and brought dollar store gifts to Christmas. That Jason was gone. They buried him. But they had no idea. They planted something they couldn't control. As I stepped into the lobby, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my assistant. Board ready. Jet is fueled. Investors already arrived. Smiled and walked out into the sunlight where my black SUV was waiting. My driver opened the door without saying a word, as always. As we pulled off, I looked back once. Just once. The apartment that was supposed to be my loss now stood as their reminder. Because I didn't just win, I changed the rules of the game. But the story didn't end there. Later that night, Ashley showed up at my office. No makeup, no attitude, no designer heels, just tears and shame. She begged for a second chance. Not as my sister, but as someone who finally realized what she lost. "Jason," she whispered, "I didn't know. I was blind. I was stupid. Please, let me fix this." I stared at her. The same sister who laughed when Mom handed her the keys to my home. The same sister who posted photos online bragging about her new apartment while I sat silently in the background. "You didn't just take the apartment, Ashley," I said. "You took my silence as weakness. You took my sacrifice as failure. And now you want forgiveness, not because you're sorry, but because the lie finally collapsed on you." She looked down, sobbing. I slid a drawer open and pulled out a folder. "This is a lease," I said. "A real one. Not for that apartment, but for one in the same building. Smaller, older, nothing fancy. You can rent it, fair and square, if you can afford it." She blinked through tears. "You'd do that? For me?" I shook my head. "Not for you. For the part of you that might finally understand what earning something feels like." She left without signing it. 3 months later, I saw her name on the building's rental board. She signed it after all. No wedding, no rich husband. Just Ashley, starting over. As for my parents, they reached out weeks later, said they were proud of me, that they always believed I'd do something big. I left the messages on read, because some apologies aren't owed attention. They're owed silence. Now, every time I walk into that building, people stand. The doormen nod with respect. Tenants know my name. And the sister who once looked down on me takes the elevator I built to reach a floor I once slept on. But me? I take the stairs, because I never forget where I started, and I never stop climbing.